Hi there, welcome to another edition of the Akashic Insight Portal Illumination for the week. And we're looking at February 9th through the 15th on Jen Deshen, jendeshen.com, and we're using the Illuminating Journey Cards that were created by the Akashic Records. And I am an Akashic reader, healer, teacher. So let's see what the cards have in store for us today. We've just passed the full moon of February. And this week has, of course, Valentine's Day. Let's see what the cards have to say. All right, so the first card that comes up is the Invisibility Cloak, which is one of the tools. And let me see what this has to say. And you may notice I'm in summer. I'm actually in South Africa, visiting family, taking care of some business. So I'm enjoying the heat. And the card, to me, it's very interesting. It says Invisibility Cloak, but I feel a presence, a spiritual presence in this card, kind of a smokiness that's rising from a shifting time. So I feel like this card is signaling the shifts, the energetic shifts, the spiritual attunement, if you will, is coming forward. That a sense of mystery is rising in our collective, and we're experiencing this sense of awareness of self. So what has been invisible to us now presents itself, perhaps as more visible. And then what we have assumed is visible reality, our idea of reality, is now being kind of expanded. So we're beginning to see that what we think is real is not always reality, right? It's a changing of perspective and being supported by this idea of a spiritual energy, the invisibility energies or frequencies that are around us that are coming more into our awareness and waking us up to a new kind of knowing. And then the second card, so the first one is a tool, nice and purple, violetty purple, and the second one is more of the pinks, and this is the Soul Portal number 1. And what's so fascinating about this is it feels like there's a lot of things when I'm looking at this card, and it's always interesting what shows up every time I see these portals, things look different. It's like things are falling apart, right? This is a building or a city, things are coming down, things are breaking apart. There's this energy of this motion, this movement that's happening in this card that suggests that we are rushing towards something different. The figure on the horse galloping, this kind of cotton floss energy and a sword, the spinning disc, this energy rising up here, which is the chalice. So there's all of this surge of energy that's breaking up. Again, I get that sense, breaking up with the reality, the sense of who we think we are. And then there's, more shades of like purpley colors, violety purple colors. So very much this thing keeps catching my eye. It's kind of like a chair. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like a chair in the distance. There's another shield. So there's a lot of motion and movement. And this actually feels like it could be a portal with this energy that has come through. So while the attention has been here in the past, we're moving away from that to a more invisible energy, a more awakened thinking and awareness, and a greater attention to what we believe in and trust that maybe we haven't seen with our eyes and now is becoming more visible. And this card is a Soul Portal 1. It almost looks like it's an F. So I don't know what that would be, an F or a line or a marking of change, forward motion, and awareness. And then the third card, oh, isn't that interesting? So now we have the mix of the purples and the pinks in the card 31. So I find that very fascinating that here's this energy of all these colors repeating themselves. The purples and pinks, these violety colors that are that speak to our spiritual centers, our third eye, our crown, and all of the energy coming in. What's fascinating about this, the Soul Portal 31, which adds up to a 4, and remembering we are in a 4-year, 31 is about our genius, awakening to our uniqueness, to change, sudden change. And when you look at this card, it's fascinating, the figure sitting in the cave, what I call the dragon's lair, the awareness of treasure. So what do you consider your treasure? What is it that has value to you? And that exploration and excitement about this idea of coming to terms with who you are, what you believe in, what you count as valuable. And again, a very spiritual energy, this baobab tree with these kind of fruits, if you will, hanging, the dragons flying in the air. Here's a dragon over there. And then in the shadows, there's other figures, other beings, and flaring lights, or perhaps some kind of alien energy coming into, luminous energy. So quite fascinating how this is bringing us into a new awareness. There's a spaceship here, if you can see it over there, and just this whole kind of expanse, this landscape that's opening up to who we are and what we perceive. So I look at all these cards as a message saying that there's a lot opening up for us. There's a lot of expanse and change and kind of mind shifts and awareness of our spiritual energy. We're waking up. We are seeing things in a new light. We are beginning to recognize, wait a minute, all that stuff I've been valuing or talking about isn't actually where my heart is. It isn't what I truly value. So what is it? What do I count as my treasure? What do I want to bring forward? What has been invisible and yet significant that's coming into my consciousness, into my awareness, into my life that I now need to pay attention to? Where should I be focusing instead of focusing on what's falling apart? Right. We need to start focusing on what's coming through, what is possible, what's opening up, and then coming back to this energy of true alignment, true balance, being in the space of the creative, genius space of recognizing what you value, what you care about, what's important to you, who you are as a spiritual being, and how you can bring that out into your everyday world and life. So I'm just going to line these cards up again. So we have the invisibility cloak, this idea of going from invisible to taking action, moving towards what is coming through the portal, what is waking up in our world and within us, and then coming to the space of the inner world, what lies beyond. So you could say this figure, activating this figure, who's then going towards the space that then leads to this, to the cave of treasure, to the cave of self-knowing, and perhaps even a sense of undoing, in the sense of the things that maybe you have worshipped or put a lot of energy into that is now being exposed in a different light, and you're going, I don't want to put my energy there, I've got to put my energy here somewhere. So whatever's calling you, it feels like when I look at this that there's, even though there's a lot of movement going on and collapsing of things, that there's a lot of new stuff coming in. And I'm just going to give you another look at this one, a closer look. So kind of the same idea in a different form. And that's the reading for this week. Let me know what comes up for you, what awakens in you, because of course I see what I see. You may see something different. There is no wrong thing to see. Our inner sight, our inner knowing is sacred to us, as long as we're willing to kind of expand our minds and see more than we have seen. We allow the invisible to penetrate into what we call reality and change our mind, change our way of being, open our hearts, really ground us into the sense of who are we and what are we here to bring forward and experience in the life right now. So like, subscribe to my channel. I appreciate all subscriptions. I'm trying to get past 100, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. So leave me a comment. Feel free to share. And yes, have a beautiful week. If you are interested in a reading, a card reading, an Akashic reading, learning more about what the Akashic Records are, how to open your own records, you can get in touch with me, jen@jenduchenne.com. That's my email. Or look me up at my website, jenduchenne.com. And I look forward to connecting with you next week.